Good morning. We got that Friday feeling, you know, the one that gives you the jitters right before a big old Saturday weekend. So today we're talking about Lithia's growth plans, Gen-Zers getting dropped off at the mall, and avocados.
Full-blown rap.
Wait, we got...
Tip my hat when it's time for the kill. Ain't no beast when you're really real. I am the boss, I am the Don, I am the
one they call Lucky Charms. Yep. So that happens.
Okay.
I had to get that in there. Ben was excited about that yesterday. It says Lucky Charms in our intro music. You just never hear it.
Is he a cereal guy?
I don't know. He was just excited that it said Lucky Charms, which is a funny thing to say in a rap. You know, I've never.
Was he
heard
like,
someone...
the funny thing about Lucky Charms and how they relate to a drive train in a Toyota RAV4?
He's like, I was thinking about Lucky Charms and service advisors. Yeah. They're both lucky. No.
They're both charms.
Lucky Charms. Man, you know what? I haven't really watched the intro video. If you listen to the audio podcast, you don't get the intro video on like our countdown for the video every single day. But I watched it today thinking, goodness, like the number of people, the wide ranges of places where we've been with this podcast. I mean, we had the three of us, you, me, and Paul, in front of an Apple store one time, completely randomly. Like, we're up on a ASOTU stage, Mike Stanton, Liza Borchis, all just incredible. You know, we got coats on sometimes, we're in the office sometimes. I just love the variety at which we just every single day, Monday through Friday, bring a little bit of energy, a little bit of spice to the day. So
I love too that our brains can't ever leave content creation mode.
Yes,
because they're like, people are like, yeah, that was so cool in front of the Apple store. We were all standing on the street and Kyle's like, there's the Apple store. We should film something in front of it. And we're like, yeah, that's a good idea.
Sure. Great idea. It's unbelievable. Oh, man. Oh, today I am getting the chance to hang out with some people from JD Power at a store in the Nashville area, talk a little bit about EV transformation and what they're seeing, what we're seeing. So I'm excited for that content to come out. Probably next week we'll be hanging out at a Ford dealership actually, which is interesting. We've been talking about the waning interest in the Ford Mach-E, so we might get to that just a little bit. Also, if you didn't hear, yesterday we released Jesse Cole as the keynote speaker of night 2 of the Savannah Bananas for ASOTU. So if you missed that, you're going to want to go check it out. Find out exactly who Jesse Cole is. He's written a book called Fans First, Find Your Yellow Tux, and has completely changed the game of the way that baseball happens in the world. Like, I'm convinced that the reason why the timer clock for Major League Baseball happened is because of the requirement of time of the Savannah Bananas. So this guy's changing the game for sure. So
I'm like, yo, if you don't know who Savannah Bananas are, if you haven't stumbled upon one of their 80 zillion posts on social, at ASOTU, we're incredibly excited to introduce you to the year 2023. But also, you know what strikes me, just as a quick aside, that these guys on the team are actually really good baseball players too.
Oh, they are. Yeah.
So I don't know how he managed to pull that off. I'm excited to learn from him. And man, that is a huge announcement. That is a huge announcement. That's a huge announcement.
The energy, the understanding of like a fans first mentality of creating raving fans, of like thinking as your clients, your customers as the most important thing in the room every single day is a big deal. So you're going to want to make sure to be there at ASOTU. You can go to ASOTUcon.com, snag your tickets. We still have early bird pricing, and we still have spaces left at the main hotel. You're not going to want to miss out on that. There are hotels in the area, but you're going to want to be at the place that the conference is and the casino is and everybody's at every day, rubbing elbows, rubbing shoulders, and hanging out. So, yeah. All right, let's get into it, Cirillo. We got to get there because All Things Used Cars is coming up here in less than 12 minutes. So Lithia's grand plan of reaching $50 billion in revenue by 2025 seems to be well on its way as acquisitions and adjacent business paths pave the way to growth. The automotive news caught up with Brian DeBoer, the CEO of Lithia, and just some points along the way, just seeing like, okay, couple years ago, they announced that they really wanted to be at that mark. So its new acquisition target is now $25 billion in acquired revenue, up from $20 billion. Driveaway, Lithia's online platform that many people know about, which is both the online platform and the financier, has a $3 billion revenue target, which is actually down from $8 billion over the next couple weeks because of the high cash burn rate, mainly attributed to shipping costs. So interesting how they're balancing revenue based on acquisition and then also their sales growth and their finance growth. Lithia is also going to be expanding internationally. They've already gone into Canada, and they've just recently been into the UK. So they're, the old Canada
coming for the Commonwealth.
They're coming for it. Here's the stats. Listen, watch this growth path. All right, past 5 years of revenue right here. Ready? In 2018, just under 12 billion. In 2019, 12.67 billion. 2020, 13.1. Ready for it? They have acquired the Suburban Collection in 2021. Moved them to $22.8 billion in revenue. Last year, they were at $28.2 billion of revenue, and they are projected to be at $31.2 billion of revenue, almost a 3x multiple on their 2018 revenue.
Yeah, and I don't know, just for those, like seriously, just for those wondering, multiples like that, when you're in the billions, much more significant, all these people online being like, my company grew 87,000%. It's like, yeah, because you started with $0 and then made $87,000.
It's unbelievable.
Like, to go from even the year before, like to go from 28.2 to 31.2. Whoo.
Yeah. It's unbelievable. And this is, I think this is the biggest play for them is DeBoer has mentioned a couple times that Lithia is driving toward creating their own technologies next. So he's kind of dropped hints at CRM or DMS or buying something like that. So I think that them getting into these adjacent businesses are really going to see where you're going to start to see an expansive business practice. And you see that with like smaller to mid-sized groups creating technology or buying and building technology. So watch out for those horizontal or adjacent things happening soon, because that'll totally change the game too. Because the minute you can scale that across all of your rooftops already and have a client base, boom, right? It's like, It's like how service operates with sales, but in a SaaS world. So,
love it.
Pretty cool. Well, speaking of adjacent businesses,
segue.
Back in the day, I don't know if you remember, Cirillo, but there was this thing called a shopping mall, and a bunch of adjacent businesses were next to them, and your mom would drop you off at the shopping mall with all the teenage kids. Well, that went away in like the 2010s because we all started shopping online. But in an unexpected twist, Gen Z is taken back to the shopping malls. They actually 67% of Gen Zers are 61%, almost 2 in 3 Gen Zers are interested in finding a way to get shopping malls back to the nostalgic way that they once were. Another survey by the International Council of Shopping Centers found that nearly the same share of 16 to 26-year-olds who shop at brick and mortar stores, 97%, also shop online. Here's some reasons why Gen Z like the mall. Ready, Cirillo? The instant gratification of trying on clothes right away.
My least favorite part. Okay, keep going.
I'm like, don't let me try on pants ever again in my life.
The worst. You want to feel defeated instantly? Put on a new pair of jeans.
Oh, it's tough. No break-in period at all. It's rough. The socialization factor of being with people in person. See, now we know what that's all about.
Yep.
And then the immersive nature of most malls, shopping, entertainment, and restaurants, all in one place. Like these little one-stop shops that get you a little bit of in-person interaction and then the satisfaction of having things right away. It's actually interesting because we turned to getting shipping as a way to get closer to a product purchase. Like, shipping went from like, get it in 14 days to get it in a week to Amazon Prime, get it in 2 days. Now get it in 3 to 4 hours. And now we've been so tuned to get something right away, that Gen Zers are like, no, right away means I want to go pick it up off the shelf, try it on, and take it home. Just like wild to me. Nobody would have predicted this.
Yeah, and I mean, where else can you go and get the scent of freshly popped popcorn next to essential oils, next to marijuana, and next to some dude's BO? It all happens at the same time, and you can bring those scents with you home on the new clothes.
It's a special aroma, you know, that a shopping mall has. Like they should sell that as like a scent you could put in your car, like shopping mall scent.
I like how you were like, Gen Z is trying to figure out a way to bring back the nostalgia of a shopping mall. Here's an idea. Start going back to the shopping malls.
There it is. They're still around. Actually, it's really funny. In Nashville, see this, where I was from in Cincinnati, shopping malls were basically like closing left and right. In Nashville, there are 3 shopping malls that are constantly absolutely packed. And it may just be the fact that like it's a younger demographic in Nashville that's moving here, but like the 3 major shopping malls in east of Nashville, the Opry Mills, and then south of Nashville at Green Hills, and then further south at the Galleria Mall in Franklin, are always just slam packed. Getting in, getting out of them is a tough thing to do. They've got like a bunch of high-end stores, experiential stuff. So they've like, these shopping malls are really crafting experiences. And I think that that's like, to say that dealerships shouldn't be thinking about how to be in places where others already are. I think that's the point of this, is like, the reason why the shopping mall is attractive to the new buyer isn't because like they, you know, I don't know, they love the term shopping mall. It's because they can have all these experiences within a short amount of time.
Yep.
And so you see like Apple stores and Tesla and all of that still staying consistent in malls, because they recognize like, oh, I can give people an experience next to an adjacent experience. And so I think like manufacturers, automakers, dealers should be thinking about, how do I either set up pop-up shops or micro locations or anything like that in malls, because if people are going to be headed back there over the next 3 to 5 years, it's going to be a place where they're going to discover vehicle shopping.
Well, I saw this firsthand. There's a little mall in Hudson Yards in NYC, and one of the coolest experiences in that mall was the Genesis pop-up right in there. They had 4 units right in there. It was beautiful. I think, to your point, we're going to see a lot more of that, and it was a cool experience to kind of have that. It was almost like a place to take a break. You're like, you know, I'm going to take a quick break here, and I'm going to sit in the vehicles, and I'm going to check them out. And I think that's exactly what they wanted in that location.
Nice. Well, speaking of taking a break,
Segue.
Chipotle workers may have just a few minutes to take a couple extra break times, because their handmade guac is taking a 50% cut on the time necessary to do it, as their new Autocado, not avocado, Autocado robot replaces the tedious task of peeling and coring avocados in some restaurants. This fast casual chain, Chipotle, is working with a robotics company, Vibu, to create the device after analyzing the company's preparation process and identifying that tasks are time-consuming and less favorable among crew members. Like, if you ever worked in a restaurant, someone's like, who's doing the avocados today? And like everyone scatters like ants. They're like, no, I'm not doing it. So basically what'll happen is this Autocado, which we've got a little video. Let's throw that up on the screen. It's pretty wild. Like, they just dump the avocados in there, and then Autocado does its little thing, slices, dices, cuts, removes, peels, and then right at the bottom of this thing, boom, you got all the avocados you could ever want. Right there. It's unbelievable. In a thing that you can go ahead and mash up. They're still going to do the hand mashing process so that you get like a little creaminess, a little chunkiness. They're going to still mix the salt and lime and jalapenos down into the into the guac. So basically right now it takes about 50 minutes just to create a batch of guacamole. But they believe that they can bring that time down significantly, which is great for the late lunch crowds, because you know you're always getting the junk at the end of the avocado line.
You're getting the brown stuff.
Yeah, you're getting the brown stuff. Oh, it's just awful. And here's the kicker here, because Chipotle, not to be outdone, right? They don't want everybody else creating funky names and them not to get in on it. So they got the Autocado. You know what else they're building, Cirillo?
I can't wait to hear this.
The Chippy. You can only imagine what the Chippy does with tortilla chips. And they said that they were going to use artificial intelligence to make tortilla chips. So I don't know what this has to do with dealerships, except for the fact that there may be places where you can use technology to streamline your employee experiences and make them more effective. And hey, maybe one day you're going to want avocados in your pop-up shop.
It's going to be like this. It's going to be like, hey, we can cut you a deal on this vehicle. It's not going to come with the tires on it. You put those on yourself. Well, to save you $4,000.
There you go. Oh my goodness. Well, hey, that's all the time we have for today. We hope you'll join us in all things used cars over on Clubhouse. Hang out with David Long and the whole team over there. But on this Friday, get some energy together and chop some avocados.